May 24th, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 103. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Todd?
I'm alright. I won't lie, I don't really want to be up right now.
Yeah, neither do I. But you know what? The show must go on.
Oh, it definitely does. I was sitting there at 12:30, and I messaged you, and you didn't respond. I'm like, oh, I have to be up longer than I wish. I was like, shit.
I responded within 30 minutes.
I know, it was 30 minutes of hell where I was like eyeing my bed and about to say we're gonna do the shit at 2:30, motherfucker.
That's fair.
Oh.
I was dealing with some shit, as you know.
Yes.
And it's fine. The show must go on, Todd.
Always and
Ever
forever.
the showman, the show must go on. You know what? We've got a lot of stuff to cover this week. So I don't think we should pussyfoot around. I think we should jump right into it. What have you been playing?
A shit ton of For Honor.
Yeah, that's been the main thing, right?
For Honor and like occasional Monster Hunter. But for the most part, it's just been leveling up my Black Prior.
Nice.
And I've reached Rep 3 with him, so the Fashion Souls has begun. Or the Fashion Honor, or Honor, I don't know, Fashion Honor, I don't
know. For fashion.
Actually, that works. For fashion's better.
I like that.
For fashion works. But yeah, that's begun. I actually changed it up a little bit since you last saw.
But since last night?
Yes.
Jesus.
So it was mainly like paint job and shit. So like, it's pretty. I went for like an all black look with my neutral look. So it's like I look primo, and then when I go to my attacker and my defender color scheme, like the blue and red, basically, there's just little accents that are red and little accents that are blue. I'm still mainly black though.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty fucking good, honestly. I was very happy with that. And now I'm just ready to play the game. It's funny, is like I finally activated a perk finally with this character, and it's probably the only perk I genuinely give a shit about.
What is it?
It's a Black Prior only perk, I think. It's called a Vengeful Barrier. So when I get out of Revenge, I get a 25% shield. Okay. So that's, I mean, if you're playing like,
useful
4v4s like Dominion and shit, that shit's useful. Like I try to go into Revenge. I mean, here's the thing. I realized this with Black Prior. Black Prior is a really good anti-ganking hero. I'll say this: you ain't gonna do shit against 4 people, but I can do pretty well against 2 to 3 people. Mm-hmm. I might actually kill 2 if I'm fighting 3 people. I might get 2 of them, and almost kill the 3rd one. It becomes more of like like who's gonna outlive. It's pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah,
but I've been having a lot of fun with that game. But just going back to the occasional Monster Hunter, I have fucked with Nergigante a little bit.
Did you wind up just saying fuck it and trying to solo it?
Here's the thing. I don't technically give a shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like I looked up what you get, like what's the Nergigante Gamma set and all that. It's cool. It's all right. Like the main thing you're gonna care about is obviously like what the new armor the armor skills are or whatever. Right. And like the only one that's genuinely good is like the legs, and that's like a level 3 attack boost. So it's like that could open up a bunch of slots and like change up my build a little bit, but it's like I like my build the way it is. So it's like, I don't know. It's like,
or you will for a few months. Anyway.
I will for a few months, and then that's when shit changes. Everything
and then
changes.
It'll become obso-fucking-lete.
Everything changes when Volcano attacks.
Yeah. When Iceborne hits, that all goes down the drain.
Yeah, it's all, everything's obsolete probably. But it is what it is. I'm still like, I jumped on it because I wanted to experience the fight at least. So I was like, I jumped on there with our mutual friend Tyler. It's Nergigante. Like, he has some new moves. It's kind of bullshit one of his new moves. It's he jumps up in the air and does like this. It's so quick. It's such a quick like fucking jump in the air and stomp on your ass attack. Honestly, the only way you can really dodge this is if you happen to be running at the time that he's doing it.
Oh, okay. It's like so fast you can't really do a
it's like
frame perfect.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some motherfuckers that can pull it off. I'm not one of them. And like this is the dude that's like gotten to the point now where I guard point like almost everything in the game because I use Charge Blade. And I've explained what guard point is to you, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar because I know especially like once you started getting into Charge Blade.
Yeah,
once that basically became your main weapon, that was like part of the strategy.
Well, it's
part of the play style.
It is. It's the masterful play style. It's like when you get to the point where you don't even block anymore. Like you block when it's like legit necessary. If like you don't have the time to pull off a guard point, but guard point is essentially like just a better block. And honestly, it was funny is I actually pulled off one of the sweetest guard points of life when I was doing that fight.
Okay.
It was one of those moments where like I knew he was coming. He was doing this fucking attack. I had no health. I had like maybe like a quarter health left. And I'm like, it's either you die here or you try to guard point it. Here's the deal. The only reason I did die, but the only reason I died is because it was a 2-hit attack.
Okay.
You
guard pointed the first one.
Yeah, so it technically guard points the entire thing, but here's the deal: you're still taking a damage a little bit with guard point.
It's just like chip damage.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's arch-tempered nerd, so it's like.
So even the chip damage is good.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, so, but dude, I pulled it off so fucking seamlessly. It was like I was like, well, fuck it, smooth as hell. It was clean. And then he does that first hit, and I'm like, all right, that was badass. Then he does the other slam. Technically, I'm still in the blocking animation of the guard point, and just fucking kills me. But I'm still like, I wasn't even mad at that death because like, damn, I was like just sitting there. I'm like, damn, that was a cool ass guard point. That was baller.
I'm looking forward to playing Baby Monster Hunter with you probably tonight.
Oh yes. That's I'm excited to play we're talking about Dauntless, which just came out on PS4.
It just came out at the time of this recording yesterday on PS4, so we both have it. I have only put literally like 10 minutes into it, so I've
probably put in a little more time than that because I played it a little bit on PC. But it was one of those games where I was like, damn, this would be cool if I had people to play with. Damn, I have no friends type of shit.
Yeah, I literally just kind of made my character, did the tutorial, and then I was like, all right, play with Todd. Yeah. So we'll try it. I mean, the game's free to play. I mean, like we'll probably have some thoughts on that next week. I'm sure we'll both have played together a little bit by that time, and we'll talk about it then. But anything else, Todd?
I'm trying to think of like what if I've done anything. Have I talked about? I don't really remember. Did I say that I beat Rage 2 yet?
That's actually an excellent point. I don't think you have, because last week we recorded basically you'd only had like a day or so to play it, and you have now finished it.
Yeah, okay. So
I didn't know thoughts?
I didn't know if I brought it up or not. All right, so yeah, final thoughts on Rage 2. I had fun. It was I don't know. It's a very. I feel like it's gonna go one or two ways. It's like you're either gonna really enjoy this game or you're really just gonna hate it. I feel like I've seen that.
I feel like there's a lot of people who are kind of down the middle with it.
I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't even say, I'm not going to say it's like a fucking masterpiece. Lord knows it's not. But it has one thing over like the last game that I tried to play is it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really give a single shit about the story. The story is just there to, I don't know, be a game, I suppose. But gameplay alone, I just really had a lot of fun with it, playing around with the abilities, and
I mean they have outlined like their plans for DLC for the rest of the year. Are you gonna do you see yourself coming back?
I haven't deleted it yet, so I'm honestly, okay. I think I do technically have the season pass for it because I bought.
Oh, did you buy it?
I think I bought the deluxe.
Okay. Well, at that point, then yeah, you should fucking come back and play the.
I don't know like what they're like
expansions.
I don't know what they're. Is it like a full on expansion they're planning on coming out with, or like I don't even
They
really
have,
know.
yeah. So they have like a content roadmap where I guess later this month they have like just some free updates that are happening from now until July, like world events and challenges and weapon skins and shit like that.
Don't care about that.
They're adding a new vehicle, I guess, in July. But yeah, in August, that's when the Rise of the Ghosts expansion is coming out.
Okay.
New story, new enemy faction, new weapons, abilities, vehicles, and areas to explore.
And when I'll come back. I'll definitely come back and report how that is.
And there's a big world event called the Mutant Derby that I guess is taking place with that update. And then in fall, there's a world event called the Rageisode 2 Attack of the Drones.
All right.
And then expansion number 2, which is, I guess they'll detail that later.
All right.
So
I mean, that's I'll definitely keep the game
Stuff
on my
that's
hard
coming.
drive for now because it's there's still shit that I technically need to clean up. Like I kind of like it got to the point where like I kind of activated everything on the map and just kind of like. And once I got all the abilities, that was like the main thing I cared about. Like I went through and got all the weapons and the abilities. And honestly, it's like I upgraded like the abilities that I care about, which are honestly it's like 2 of them. It's a shatter and graph slam or whatever or slam. It's basically it's force push and a fucking fist of havoc from like Destiny. It's like it's good shit. I love it. The most disappointing thing weapon wise for me is like I still just found myself using the shotgun.
yeah.
Even after like getting all the other weapons, like there was cool weapons, like there was a this Firestorm revolver, which I thought was kind of cool the way it played out. You couldn't aim down the sights at all with it, so the whole deal is like you shot it right. It shot like these incendiary rounds, but when you do the the left trigger to aim down the sights, you detonate them.
Ah, okay, I see.
So I mean, like it was an interesting weapon. I fucked around with it a little bit, but again, I just kind of stuck with like. The main weapons you'd use in like this game. In my mind, I just used the initial assault rifle that they gave you, the shotgun, and when I got the rocket launcher, that was it.
That's sort of like the mark of like not bad weapon design, but maybe the game like kind of giving the player too much. Like,
I mean, like there was some weapons there. I was like, I don't see myself using this. There was this one called the grav dart launcher, and my issue with this weapon is like it's weird. It was weird. It was a weird weapon. It was like, hey, shoot him and then detonate it, and like it pulls him into a wall and kills him. I'm like, yeah, but it's too much. It's weird to use. I don't like it.
I like weird weapons like that. But
I mean, it's one of those things in a game where like Rage 2, like I'm just trying to keep it moving, and it's just like I feel like I got to think too much with that weapon.
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, like there's a difference between this and a game like Doom, where you are constantly. I mean, I never felt like any of those weapons.
No,
were useless.
I said this. I said this to you actually after I beat it. Is like at least with, like with Doom, I didn't give a fuck what weapon I was using.
Yeah, they all felt good.
Yeah, I was sitting there like whatever I had ammo with, I was good with because every weapon in Doom feels incredible.
Well, there's that. It's because the weapons feel good, but it's also because they were never overreaching with the amount of stuff that you could actually do as the Doomslayer. Because like really, when you think about it, all the Doomslayer actually does is he just jumps around. You can do some melee stuff. You can do the finisher attacks.
Yeah.
The glory kills. But other than that, that's really the extent of his like abilities. You could run into the power ups and you could do the rages and shit like that. But for the most part, those are his core abilities that he uses in combat. So the guns really become the main focus of the combat. When we're talking about something like Rage, where it seems like you have just as many.
There's a lot of shit to do, man. There's a lot of like different abilities and like ways to upgrade those abilities, ways to upgrade like everything in the game. Honestly, there's a lot of shit going into this game. I'll say that.
When you have that many combat options, your brain just sort of defaults to the things that feel the most comfortable.
Yep, and it's shotgun, rocket launcher, and assault rifle.
So it's like why would I experiment with all these other interesting, strange weapons when I can just use my things that I'm good at and comfortable with
Yep.
And then focus on abilities.
That's kind of where I stuck with. It's like cool. I like a good ground pound. I like ground pounds in every fucking game that has it. It's like that's why the moment I knew that ability was in there, I fucking did a beeline for like.
There's a fine tightrope to walk there.
Yeah.
Giving the player like I think BioShock. That's something that BioShock did really really well. Of like giving the player a lot of like abilities, and I think the way you have to do it is I think you have to give different options that cater to different play styles. Rage, it seems like you couldn't really have different play styles with Rage. It's all just action.
I mean, like in my mind, like one of the most weird abilities in the game to me was the fact that you can have a barrier.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, who the fuck's playing this game like
a tactical shooter?
Yeah, I'm like, who the fuck? Like, dude, I'm running around, jumping around and shit, dashing around, beating the shit out of people. Like, I'm not sitting there popping a barrier. Like, what?
It seems like that's the way the game is sort of meant to be played. And like I was just saying with BioShock, like BioShock gives you a lot of abilities and a lot of guns, but the difference is there are weapons like the crossbow, and there are like security-based and stealth-based plasmids, and so you feel like, yeah, there are a lot of options, but they're options for different styles of play versus like just one style of play having a shit ton of stuff to do, and you feel overwhelmed. Your plate's too full. So that's a fine tightrope to walk in terms of design. But yeah, I mean, Rage 2, I mean, it sounds to me like, I mean, at least you had fun with it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I give it a solid 7.
Just a decent little time.
Yeah. Solid 7 out of 10.
Nothing special, but
nothing special. Just had my fun with it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
And then I just jumped back into For Honor after I beat it. So I was like, all right, fuck it.
It was one of those things where you're just like, all right, yeah, I beat it. So that was cool.
Yep.
Guess I'm getting on For Honor now.
Yep.
Yeah, I have just crossed the 70-hour mark on Odyssey. So that's me right now. I'm in the home stretch with it. I'm getting to the point where I only have like a handful of areas that still need clearing, and then I can actually just do the story. So that's kind of about it, though. Like I said, downloaded Dauntless. Haven't really played it. Haven't really played much of anything else. It's just been Odyssey for the most part. I have nothing to report. But it's kind of a good thing that I have nothing to report, because we actually have quite a bit of news this week.
To report.
So, if you're ready, I say we get straight into the news.
Let's go for it, man.
So, let's start off this week. And again, I would say that most of what we have here in terms of the news, I've got a good bit of items, and most of them are juicy. But I like to start off with, now that we finally have this on our plate, let's start with some juicy NPD data for April, because it's finally come out. I've been waiting patiently for the NPD data to come out. I think I said I wanted to start covering this in the news section of the show, because I think NPD data can be interesting. It is interesting this month. So NPD for April reveals. So Mortal Kombat 11 released to fantastic sales. No surprise there. It was the best-selling game of the month on every platform it released on. It was the best-selling game of the month of April in general, and is now the second best-selling game of 2019, right under Kingdom Hearts 3. So, Mortal Kombat 11 sold gangbusters. Meanwhile, despite relatively mixed reception, the debut of Days Gone may spell good news for Sony Bend Studios after all. It was the second best-selling game of April, the second best-selling PlayStation 4 game, under Mortal Kombat 11, and is already Ben's best-selling game in terms of lifetime revenue. That said, the game has still failed to penetrate the top 10 best-selling games of 2019 thus far. So, in other words, the game has done well, like, for a Ben game, which could be good. I mean, that could mean good things for Days Gone. I mean, look, it sounds to me like Days Gone is a flawed game with a really solid, like, premise, so I kind of hope that they get a chance to make another one. I kind of hope that they get a chance to follow it up and make it really good. I feel like Days Gone 2 could be really good. It's also worth noting the current top 10 best-selling games of 2019 are in order: Kingdom Hearts 3, Mortal Kombat 11, The Division 2, Anthem, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Red Dead Redemption 2, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Jump Force, and MLB 19 The Show. So that's what the current top 10 best-selling games of 2019. Interesting. I'm surprised that Kingdom Hearts 3 sold as well as it did, apparently. I mean, like, I'm not surprised that it sold well, but I'm surprised that it's still hanging in strong at number 1.
It's the fucking... It's the hype train, man.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the game came out in January, and I'm just a little bit surprised that some of these games didn't. I would have expected the Division 2 would have outsold Kingdom Hearts. I'm also surprised that Resident Evil 2 Remake sold as well as it has, which is a good sign, because now they're probably going to actually do, like, Nemesis next. Red Dead Redemption 2, no surprise, still hanging in there, especially now that they've done some, like, multiplayer updates.
Oh, shit, have they?
So, yeah, there's been some... I didn't read into it or anything because I don't care, but I know they've been doing some significant updates to the multiplayer lately. A little bit of a shock to see Jump Force in the top 10. I imagine that's going to get bumped off pretty soon. But, yeah, a little bit of a shock to see Jump Force hanging in strong at number 9 there. And then Sekiro, of course. You know, that doesn't really surprise me that it's in the top 10, like kind of towards the bottom. But we knew that game would sell well. Closing out with some hardware data, the Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console of April, and NPD notes that the Switch is also the best-selling console of 2019 to date. So that is a trend that is likely to continue as Nintendo heads into this fall, which, there's rumors of a more budget-friendly SKU on the horizon for the Switch, and there's certainly going to be a shit ton of good Switch games this fall.
Oh, fuck off.
It's true. It's just true. That's not me being a Nintendo fanboy. That's just that's the objective truth. Between Animal Crossing and Pokemon and Zelda and fucking Luigi's Mansion, and it's going to be a really good year for the Switch. And then if they have this Switch Mini or this sort of like cheaper Switch coming out alongside this stuff, I mean, they're going to kill it this year. So anyway, that's NPD data. I always like to look into that. I think there's some interesting things there. Days Gone sold better than I expected it to. I honestly, with the mixed reception and everything, I sort of expected Days Gone to like be a bomb.
Here's the deal. I actually didn't expect it to sell that bad, actually.
I just thought the reviews were going to hurt it more than it did, I guess. I didn't think...
No, honestly, there's like really... Think about it. Like, what the fuck's out on PS4 right now?
I think that is its one saving grace, is the fact that Sony, like, PlayStation fans are so starved for first-party releases, they could have released anything and it would have sold well.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that really saved Days Gone there. Mortal Kombat 11, bringing the house down. It goes to show, though, like, is it a good thing for Mortal Kombat 11 or a bad thing for the Division 2 that it has outsold it? I think this really shows, Todd, the tea leaves of the games as a service, the Destiny style, Division, Anthem style, like,
yeah,
Connect. I think this is really the sign that like that was kind of a passing fad.
No, yeah, I'm hoping it died. I'm hoping it's just dead now.
I think that this is the sign that like, okay, if a fighting game can come out, and yes, these games are still in the top, the top 5 selling games of the year, but there really hasn't been anything to come out to really compete with them. These games are still selling millions of copies, and that's great, and they're still retaining like a player base. But I think this should signal to you, if Kingdom Hearts 3 and Mortal Kombat 11 are coming out and passing you in sales easily, and you got Resident Evil 2 Remake hot on your heels, and Smash Brothers hot on your heels, which by the way came out last year. I think it's telling. I feel like this sort of genre, the sort of connected world, always online, asymmetrical multiplayer genre, I think is really on the way out as a passing fad. I don't know. That's my opinion.
No, I agree with you, honestly. Like, I've been done with them for a while now.
It long has not fit my lifestyle, but it's gotten to the point, I think, even for the hardcore audience, I think they sort of are finding their game and sticking with it.
Yep.
Like, the person that is playing the Division 2 every day is not also playing Anthem every day.
There's motherfuckers that still play Destiny 1 only.
Of course, yeah. Like, there's always going to be something of a fan base for these people, but when you're releasing so many, it's just like any genre. When you're releasing so many titles in the same genre, like somebody's got to lose. So it's like the cream is going to rise to the top. I think The Division, is sort of like the king of that genre at the moment, at current. And then like Anthem's got its fans, Destiny's got its fans, but it's just things need to sizzle and die eventually. Just sort of like the Battle Royale genre kind of has at this point. Yes, it still has a huge fan base and blah, 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 but it's a little more quiet now. You notice that. Like, last year, Battle Royale is all anybody was talking about.
Oh my god, it was annoying.
It's all anybody was fucking talking about. And of course, Fortnite and all that is still, like, in the lexicon, but, like, think of how long it's been since the public has thought about PUBG. And that used to be, that used to be the biggest deal on the planet. And now we've forgotten about it. So
I haven't forgotten. No,
I'm just saying, as a culture, I think that's very telling. I just think that the game industry moves too fast for these things to be considered any more than a passing fad. So, moving on, Todd, I've got some GameStop related news. So you may be interested to hear this. I know you're a big GameStop fan.
Are they closing? No.
They're not closing. However, their Power Up Rewards program will soon see some significant changes. And frankly, the program will become an objectively worse deal for the customer.
Really?
For starters, the program is going to increase in price from $14.99 to $19.99 annually. So $5 more a year. In addition, the program revamp will remove one of its biggest benefits. Previously, members were entitled to a 10% discount on pre-owned games and accessories. That was kind of like the big draw. You get 10% off used games and accessories if you're a Power Up Rewards member. That is no longer going to be the case. Instead, GameStop has replaced this with simply giving members a $5 coupon once per month.
Shit.
It is also worth noting that the $5 coupon cannot be saved or stacked. It must be used within the month it's given. So, this is no doubt an effort to save the company's pocketbook, as this news comes hot off the heels of their 2018 fiscal year, which ended in April, in which the company posted a whopping $673 million full-year loss. That happened.
Because GameStop is a shit company.
Let me just put it to you this way, Todd. Let me just break this down for you. If a customer literally buys one pre-owned copy of a recently released game, which, by the way, is a transaction that would maximize profit for GameStop, the way GameStop prices their pre-owned games. So, like, if you were to walk in there right now and you said, "Let me get a used copy of Days Gone," you would pay $54.99 as opposed to $59.99. Now, with the 10% discount that Pro members used to get, that price would end up being $49.49. So about an additional like $5 off, right? Mm-hmm. So, in other words, that 10% discount that Pro members used to get would be a better deal than the $5 coupon per month, even if they only bought one used game a month.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the cherry on top is the $5 off coupon is being spent in the store anyway, and the fact that it won't stack every month means that customers have to keep returning to the store every month to spend it.
Let me tell you something. You know the last time I was at GameStop?
Do I
you want to know the last time I've dead-ass went to a GameStop?
When?
It's probably been at least 5 years, if not longer.
This new revamp is just totally one-sided in GameStop's favor, and it's actually hilarious.
No, GameStop's gonna be out the fucking door soon, man.
You know, I'm of two minds about that because
they've gone the way of Radio Shack.
They've gone a different path because GameStop's an interesting company because they just kind of keep hanging on because just when you start to think oh man, GameStop's gonna go out of business, new consoles release and they start to post profits again because that's where you go to buy your consoles. A lot of people anyway.
I don't.
So
fuck them.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, most people, when they go to buy their consoles, that's where they're going to go. They're going to go to a game specialty store versus a Walmart. The average mom and dad is going to walk into a GameStop to buy a PS5. I think people just kind of feel a little more safe buying it from the store than, ordering it from Amazon and stuff, but
Amazon's pretty safe.
When it boils down to it, they're going to post this loss this year, but then next year they're going to like get just skirt by just enough because new consoles are going to come out, right? And then it's going to be enough to sustain them for a little bit longer. And so what's
Let me say
what's
this right
really
now. To everyone listening, stop giving GameStop your business. Let them die.
It's only going to be a matter of time though, because like what's really going to hurt them in the long run is like you can't sustain that long just based on like your toys and your ThinkGeek stuff and you get your new consoles every like few years that keep you charging for it a little bit, but it's only a matter of time until that money dries up.
It needs to dry up quicker.
You're not relying on your hardware sales anymore. Your software sales are gone.
You shouldn't bring GameStop up in my presence. I get hateful.
The only bummer that I have, I mean, like I hate what GameStop has become. I still have a soft spot in my heart for GameStop. I still have some great friends that work at GameStop that like I feel bad for because like the company just continuously makes these bad decisions and is doing like these anti-consumer moves like this.
Yep.
And like they're just good people who just want to work with video games and just want like a foot in the door and stuff like that. And like the reality of it is that like at a certain point it's going to become a dead-end job, just like the way of like Hastings and like FuncoLand and like all these other like fucking Blockbuster and all these other stores that faded away because they became irrelevant. At a certain point, GameStop is going to be irrelevant. We're not going to get there tomorrow, but 5-10 years, are we still going to be talking about GameStop? I don't know. Probably not.
I haven't talked about GameStop in a while.
It's just a little bit. It's a little bit shocking. Like when you actually look at this deal, it's shocking, and I feel so bad for my friends that still work there. They're going to have to still be held up to scrutiny from the company and try to have to sell this shit.
Yep.
They're going to have to try to sell. It's like, hi, like, we're fucking you now. The already shitty deal you were getting on your power-up card.
Has this gone into effect yet or no?
No, it's not gonna. It's in beta in like some states.
So I want to know how many people drop out of the power-up rewards program.
Well, here's the thing: is like I was a power-up rewards member for years, for like literally like 12 to 15 years or something like that, and then like mine expired last year, and I just never renewed it.
Mm-hmm.
And like they asked me a few times like if I wanted to renew it. I'm like, no, I have no need to. I don't buy games from there. I buy my games digitally. It's not like I have some like deep burning hatred. I'm not giving them my business. It's because I do like to get my amiibos from there because like I said,
I do have a deep rooted hatred.
No, you've made that very clear. I don't have some sort of deep-rooted hatred. I still give them my business for amiibos and stuff. Like I said, I have friends that work there. I like to come in and visit them. I like having people that have my back that work at GameStop. My friend is a store manager there, and he makes sure if there's something that I'm interested in, he'll put it to the side for me and stuff like that. And it's nice, and I like coming in there for that reason. But like other than that, I had no reason to maintain a loyalty membership there. And it's just the harsh reality of it. I just wonder how much worse off this is going to go now that the deal is objectively worse. And these people are still going to have to be trying to sell it. I feel so bad for him, man. I feel so bad for him. Anyway, yeah, I every time I read some new like initiative that GameStop is doing, some new bad idea, I'm just like, man, like it's all just desperate attempts to save some money, and it's gonna be more nails in the coffin.
That's how companies work, man. It's all about saving that money.
Anyway, it makes me sad. I have good GameStop memories, and I did work there for 6 years. I owe GameStop a lot. I have good GameStop, fond memories of GameStop. GameStop was really my first quote unquote real job, so I can never truly hate GameStop. Moving along, Todd. In some vague sense, it looks like Microsoft and Sony may be joining forces. Did you hear about this?
I saw something about it, but I didn't read into it.
So, Microsoft and Sony, two publishing giants who have, of course, been kind of rivals for a long time, they announced they will be pooling resources to facilitate joint development of cloud streaming using Microsoft's Azure. Additionally, it sounds like Sony will reap the benefits of Azure for their own content streaming services. In other words, it looks like Sony is going to help foot the bill for advancing Microsoft's tech, and in return, they're going to be allowed to use Microsoft's tech.
All right, then.
So Sony's coming in and they're saying, hey, you've got this impressive like cloud streaming technology. We're going to help you pay for advancing it, and in return, you're going to let us use it. So that's an interesting little wrinkle.
Yeah, I mean, that's
so
cool.
We live in this interesting time right now where we're starting to see Microsoft in particular be very open with, we've seen them working kind of closely with Nintendo lately. And now we're starting to see them kind of like build bridges with Sony a little bit. And I'm just like, man, like this is Microsoft is so interesting to me.
What a time to be alive.
Like Microsoft has really they've done a ton of consumer friendly stuff, and they are really just being like the welcoming neighbor to to all of its competition.
It's a trap.
It's so weird. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like at that point they've got them by the balls because they've got the best cloud streaming service, so much so that Sony's willing to pay for it, to pay to help advance it in return for them using it. So now Microsoft's like, okay, great, we've got you locked into that. Now, if like this deal ever becomes sour for you, you can't dip out because all your cloud streaming shit is on our end. So it is sort of like that. And then there's rumors that like Nintendo's going to be next and working into the streaming with Xbox Play Anywhere and stuff like that. Could be something we hear about at E3. Who knows? There's a lot of interesting little wrinkles to this, and like I am just fascinated by the way that Microsoft is playing the game right now. Like Microsoft has been the most interesting company to watch, and it would have never happened if they were not beaten down this generation. And I say beaten down. They still were very successful. They still, I think, ended up outselling Xbox 360. But comparatively, in the public eye, Microsoft was definitely beaten to a pulp this generation compared to Sony. Mm-hmm. And this produced, like, it's the idea of, like, like this produced a warrior in Microsoft, you know? Like, you kept Microsoft in a cage, and you got a caged animal with Microsoft. And I'm so excited for this E3 to see Microsoft on that stage and see what they do. Because, like, this is prime fucking time for Microsoft. Microsoft's been doing all this shit, making all these moves, and now they stand on that stage uncontested with none of its competition there to steal any of its thunder. Like, you better believe Microsoft's going to make the most of that E3 stage this year, man.
Oh, dude, it's going to be fucking insane. Like, they're the conference I'm like looking forward to the most. I'm pretty sure I work on that day, and it's going to piss me off.
You do, yeah. In fact, it's going to start as your shift starts. So it literally starts at 3. But I'm going to stay blind until I get home. That conference is going to be fucking electric. I am so excited. So yeah, that's actually a good segue for me to say. So next week we're doing another kind of like normal show, but the week after is when we're going to do our E3 predictions on June 7th. You guys are going to hear that. We're going to do it the way we did it last year. Essentially, I hashed out for everybody that's showing. So obviously Sony and EA have dipped out this year. So I'm not going to make any Sony or EA related predictions. However, for Bethesda, Ubisoft, Square, Nintendo, and Microsoft, I have a list of 5 predictions and one kind of crazy pie-in-the-sky prediction, just like I did last year. So look forward to that. That episode is going to go live on June 7th with my E3 predictions. We're going to go through all of those. And then the following week, on June 14th, is when we're going to react and see how well I did. So we're doing that again this year, just FYI. Moving on, Todd, we have finally seen the power of the PlayStation 5 with our own eyes. Did you see this?
No, I have not. What?
During a meeting in Japan, Takashi Mochizuki of the Wall Street Journal captured footage of Spider-Man comparing how the game runs on PS5 versus PS4 and PS4 Pro. So this is similar to what Mark Cerny did like a month ago when he showed off how Spider-Man runs on PS5.
Yeah.
This footage, and he took video of it, it showcased things that we'd heard about some time ago with that Mark Cerny interview. The PS4 Pro handled a fast travel load within Spider-Man in about 8 seconds, while the PS5 loaded in less than a second.
Shit.
Additionally, they did a fast pan across a huge portion of the city. Essentially, it like starts slow and it's kind of like street view, and then it starts zooming through the street, and you're just booking it through basically the entire city, right? And while the PS4 version showed significant signs of like slowdown as the console struggled to render the city so quickly, the PS5 didn't slow down at all. So it showed you zooming through the city at maximum speed, and the PS5 just never stopped to load. So interesting, although again, this is what I said when they first showed this, like, show me how a PS5 game runs on this shit.
Yep.
Because yeah, it's impressive, and I'm happy to know that like not only is this system backwards compatible, but it's actually going to improve the way that PS4 games run. That's really cool. I love that. But like if your whole pitch is like, "Oh, we're eliminating load times," then show me how it works with the PS5 games, because PS5 games are going to be bigger and there's going to be more to load.
Yeah,
like
that's the real shit. How big are these hard drives going to have to be nowadays?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the games are just going to get bigger. They're not getting smaller.
A terabyte hard drive is like the gold standard at this point, isn't it?
You have to have like a minimum of a terabyte hard drive these days for at least for Xbox and PlayStation. Minimum a terabyte hard drive. So I'm like, I honestly feel like the new consoles better be shipping with 2.
It's real shit.
But again, you start talking about all this stuff, and you're starting to drive up the price of these consoles pretty significantly. You know what I mean? You're talking about a 2 terabyte hard drive, no load times, like all this fancy tech. I mean, you're going to be looking at $500-$600 consoles. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to hear much about new consoles this year, but next year is going to be the year for sure. So that was interesting. It was cool to see that with our own eyes. That to see Spider-Man load a fast travel in less than a second was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That video's out there if anybody wants to look it up. Microsoft has announced Minecraft Earth, an upcoming augmented reality mobile game that looks to be a combination of Minecraft and Pokemon Go. Developer Mojang says that players will be able to collect treasures, collect resources, build, fight off creepers, and everything just like in the real game. It'll be released this fall with a beta happening this summer. So that's a thing. You interested in that?
A little bit, actually.
You like Minecraft? You dabbled in Pokemon Go. It's the kind of thing I'm sure it's going to be free to play, just like Pokemon Go. I'll fuck with it. I'll see what the deal is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to get in the beta or anything, but
no, when it actually comes out, I'll fuck with it.
I'll mess around. I'll see what the deal is. I mean, look, that's the recipe to print some money right there, if I ever heard it. Let's take the best-selling video game of all time.
Is that the new thing now? Just to do augmented reality shit?
Well, I mean, dude, like, Pokemon Go is a massive success, and like, do you
still play it?
No,
neither do I. I played it I didn't even play it that much when it was out.
I jumped back in. I jumped back in late last year when they added some more of the generations. They've actually added like several generations of Pokemon now.
Really?
And they have done a lot of updates to the game, and there's still a huge hardcore following for Pokemon Go, but it's just not for me.
I just don't care.
Yeah. I would rather stick to playing the core.
I respect what it is, I just don't care.
Yeah. Love Pokemon, I would just rather stick to the core Pokemon games myself. But, again, Minecraft is so hugely popular. This is going to be, dude, for kids? I mean, my nephew, Sean, he's 8, and he lives on his fucking phone. My younger nephew, James, who is about to turn 3, he lives on his tablet. I mean, these kids are going to be fucking obsessed. If you tell me they can get Minecraft for free on their phone and augmented reality, they're going to be obsessed with this shit. So, this is going to be huge. No doubt about it. So that's Minecraft Earth coming this fall. Keep your eye out for that. I've got 2 more bits of news here, both of them pretty big. I'm curious if you heard about this, because I think one of the news items I have here is so big that I can't imagine it slipped through the cracks for you, but I think this one may have. Sony Interactive Entertainment has launched PlayStation Productions, a production studio that will mine the company's extensive catalog of video games for film and TV adaptation. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, so this I feel like slipped under the cracks for a lot of people, but it's kind of a big deal. Chairman of Worldwide Studios Sean Layden has specifically cited Marvel as an inspiration for their interest in the PlayStation film space. He says, quote, "We looked at what Marvel has done in taking the world of comic books and making it into the biggest thing in the film world. It would be a lofty goal to say we're following in their footsteps, but certainly we're taking inspiration from them." So this comes by way of The Hollywood Reporter. And in their article, which I recommend you go and read for yourself because they've got an interview with Sean Layden and people who are kind of close to this, Sony speaks on their stance on video game movies and explains that they felt the need to handle this initiative internally rather than allow another company to access their IP. So this way, Sony will retain all of the rights to any upcoming PlayStation film or TV projects. So like, they're not going to shill out they're not going to shill out the Uncharted movie to like a Warner Brothers or a Weinstein company or something. They're like, fuck it. It's a PlayStation movie. We're going to make these movies ourselves. Right?
Okay.
Which is interesting because this means that they're going to have access to a lot of the creative talent behind the games if they wanted to. This is all going to be a PlayStation Sony kind of deal. Like Sony, a lot of people forget Sony Pictures, even more so than video games, they make movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what a perfect marriage to have PlayStation Productions now handling video game movies and TV shows. So, very, very interesting. I don't think we'll see anything about that for a while.
But I'm intrigued.
But it's cool that it's happening. Yeah. It's cool that it's happening. I mean, I'm not one of these people, like, I've actually got into this conversation with our mutual friend Dan before where I'm not, he thinks that like video game movies are the next comic book movie. And I don't necessarily agree with that. And I think the reason for that is because it is very, very difficult to tell a story. Like the whole deal with video games as an art form is that you directly have control. You have a connection with what's happening.
Well, I was just reading an article. I was just reading like one of the articles about that, like as you were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the dude even says like,
exactly.
How do you make a movie out of like a 40, 50 hour game?
Sean Layden specifically talks about that. Yeah,
you don't.
Right. And that made me so happy to read that in the Hollywood Reporter article because he understands that you don't make a 2-hour movie out of a 40-hour game. That's not how it works. The movie has to be its own thing.
Mm-hmm. It could exist in the same universe, have the same characters, but it has to be its own story.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a very fine tightrope to walk, and that's why you laugh. That's why I point to Detective Pikachu and I point to like Warcraft, and I'm like, these are good video game movies.
See, I think me and you enjoy the Warcraft movie more than most people.
I really like that movie. It's not amazing, but I like it.
It's not amazing. I enjoy it though.
So that's going to be something to definitely keep our eyes out on. My last news bit here, Todd. Probably the biggest news story of the week. Jason at Kotaku has broken the story, as he often does, Todd. The Oracle, Jason Schreier, over there at Kotaku, doing the Lord's work.
Journalist? No.
Yeah, the world's only journalist. That next year's Call of Duty game is receiving a massive overhaul behind closed doors.
Yeah, I heard about this, actually.
The title was being co-developed by studios Raven and Sledgehammer, but it now appears that Treyarch is taking over the project and turning it into Black Ops 5.
Yes. And what people, like, it was crazy when I actually read this, because I was like, damn, this is the first time this has ever happened.
Yes.
Where they fucking switched off, like, the whole switcheroo development.
Yeah, they've gone by the same, like, 3-studio cycle since, like, 2012.
Yeah.
So
I was honestly surprised by that, and it's just like, shit, dude.
Yeah, they have traded, since 2012, they had traded developers with each release from Treyarch to Infinity Ward and then Sledgehammer/Raven. The disappointing thing is that, from what we've heard, Activision was actually giving Raven kind of the lead role this time versus Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Like, they were co-developing, but it sounds like Raven was really taking the reins on this one. The game was to be set in the Cold War, likely Vietnam. And now Treyarch, of course, is taking over the project, turning the project into Black Ops 5, with Sledgehammer and Raven acting in support roles.
Yeah, so and basically all the work that they did for that game is going to kind of, I guess, turn into, like, the single player from what I was reading.
Yeah, it seems like the single-player campaign is still going to be taking place in the Cold War, which is, I guess, good news, because there have been some fans who were disappointed by the lack of a campaign in Black Ops 4. So, sounds like Black Ops 5 will have a campaign. It's just interesting, because now Treyarch has got less time to work on. I mean, now they ostensibly have 2 years versus 3, like they're used to.
And I'm pretty sure, like, most of the employees were like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Kotaku reports that while Black Ops 4 sold well initially, the game didn't have the kind of long-term financial tail that Activision was hoping for.
Sounds about right.
In February of last year, the 2 co-founders of Sledgehammer left the studio and founded a new studio, taking with them dozens of old Sledgehammer employees. Kotaku sources also claim that the past year of development on Call of Duty 2020 has been shaky, as Sledgehammer and Raven couldn't see eye to eye on the project. 2 of Kotaku's sources claim that the development has been a mess, which is why Activision chose to bring Treyarch into the fold to take the reins.
I mean, at this point, Treyarch is like the #1 developer for Call of Duty, though. So it makes sense for this to happen.
Easily.
Honestly.
I mean, any day now, Modern Warfare 4 from Infinity Ward is going to get announced, and then is it going to? Are we going to go back to like releasing Modern Warfare and then Black Ops games every year?
Yeah, that's weird, dude. But I'll still say this. I think Black Ops. I mean, I don't really play Call of Duty like anymore, but like I still think that Black Ops is probably the best sub franchise of Call of Duty.
I mean, look, next year we're getting a Black Ops 5, so I mean that's worth something.
Yeah
that's a long-running franchise.
Yep.
It's interesting. I was shocked to hear this, because like you just assume that, like, I don't know, like you keep Call of Duty like in this back burner in your mind. You just kind of assume that they're made in like a factory.
Yeah.
You don't think
every year.
Yeah. I mean, like clockwork, every November we're getting a new Call of Duty game. They just churn it out. You don't think about the fact that, we actually have people working on these, and there's drama and there's complications behind the scenes, so much so that, and like literally they're having to like scrap the project ostensibly and mold it into a new one.
It's gonna be a patchwork ass game.
Yeah, to have it ready for next year. I feel kind of bad for them, honestly.
They're gonna enjoy that sweet crunch. Oh, shit.
We're gonna be hearing about that crunch. Oh, you hear that crunch, Todd?
Me and you know about the crunch.
Yeah, you hear
We've
that
read
crunch?
about it enough.
It's the crunch. The crunch heard around the world.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm gonna be interested to see how that goes. I honestly didn't expect Call of Duty to go back to having a campaign.
I mean, I think there was enough outcry for like a campaign, because I don't know, it was weird. It was weird not actually like having a campaign.
It was weird, and I will always say this: even if we have a situation like Call of Duty Ghosts where the story just is shit, like Call of Duty is just mechanically just such a rock solid shooter.
Yeah,
it's just fun to play the campaign. Like, it's just fun.
They're always at least. I mean, minus Ghost. They're always at least. I mean, even Ghost is fun to play for the most part. It's just the story's dog shit.
Mechanically, just I'm not talking about even story or anything, just from a mechanic standpoint. For me, at least, I hold Call of Duty right up there with like Doom as the best feeling shooter.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Like Call of Duty just feels like, in terms of the actual gameplay feeling, it feels like butter. I mean, rock solid 60 frames per second, like no fucking around. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as some of its competitors. It still looks pretty damn good. And it just plays well. Like, it just plays very well. I think the Call of Duty series is underrated for that reason. Like, people don't talk enough about how good it feels to play. So, anyway, that is certainly going to be interesting. I wanted to close out the show this week, Todd, by just by talking about how excited I am for WoW Classic. I can't stop thinking about it.
I know you can't.
It has really elevated itself from being something that I had a passing interest in to like my most anticipated game of 2019. I'm like so excited. And you know what it was for me? It was when this beta, within the past week, this beta has rolled out. And now people are streaming it on Twitch, and I'm seeing my baby being played before me.
Yep. I'm pretty sure we will both be jumping into that.
I'm so excited, man.
It's funny, is if we really wanted to, I could technically make that a video series, actually.
Yeah, we could. That's possible.
I could record us playing that, actually.
Might be a thing, yeah, for sure. That'd be fun. It's just funny. Like, whenever I'm not, like, playing games, like when I'm not playing Assassin's Creed or something like that, I've got Twitch up and I'm just watching people play WoW Classic.
It's fucking hilarious. It's like, Lord knows how rarely we both watch Twitch nowadays.
I have watched more Twitch in the past week than I probably have in, like, a year. Easy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just hardly ever get on there anymore, but I just love seeing this WoW Classic gameplay. They've done such a good job with it. It's just exactly the way I remember it, man. Like, it is the game I fell in love with. It's so funny how people are, like, reporting things as bugs, and it's like, motherfucker, that's a feature. It's like, oh, help, one of the enemies clipped into the environment, and now I can't attack them. It's like, yeah, welcome to WoW Classic, bitch. Oh, you whippersnappers, you're in my world now. You're not used to having to walk everywhere, are you? You're not used to having to hoof it until you're fucking level 40 and you save up all that gold. I didn't know what a gold piece looked like until I was already a man. We dealt in silver back in my day. You know how long it took me to save up for a single gold piece, bitch?
And then some good shit.
And then you had to save up like 100 of them to afford your shitty mount. Mm-hmm. You didn't even get your good mount. Oh no. No, you're fucking gearing up for all the different... and this is going to be the good shit. You remember when instances actually fucking mattered? Because that was the best way to get money. That was the best way to actually sit there and earn gear and get your money. Like, that's going to be exciting, Todd. We're actually going to be doing instances again.
Oh, Lord.
Because, like, they made... That's what...
Now, everyone listening here, I want you guys to understand see how excited he is for this? This man's about to be in tears and shit over fucking World of Warcraft. He's not a fan. He loves Warcraft. He loves it.
You don't understand.
He loves World of Warcraft. He loves it so much, and that's why it hurts him.
When it becomes shit. When it becomes shit. When's the last time you gave a fuck about running an instance in WoW? Like, they have casualized this game so much over the past several years that instances don't even fucking matter anymore. They don't matter.
Nothing matters, Seth.
They're supposed to be like mini raids, basically, and now they don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
God, I have so many like fond memories. Like, some of my favorite memories in WoW was gearing up with my friends, running instances, getting gear, earning gold, and finally getting that piece, that mount that I want, or whatever. And it just like shit mattered back then. You know what I mean? Like, you had to work for what you had. Everything in WoW Classic that you earn, you had to fucking work for. Ugh, that is so lost on the modern WoW player.
Oh, dude.
And it's so funny because I'm seeing some of these Twitch streamers that never played WoW Classic that are playing it now, and they're like, holy shit, like this game is like hard. Like, this game was so like primitive, and I'm like, no, dude, this is the way it was. I cannot wait to slowly walk over the land of Azeroth for my first 40 levels.
Honestly, I'm fucking excited. Like, both of us are going to be jumping in there. We've already kind of like talked about like what we're going to be playing and shit. So.
I do want to come up with a name beforehand. I haven't come up with one yet, but I do. I'm going to play a Tauren Druid.
And I'm going to go Tauren Warrior. So.
But I don't know what my name is going to be. But I'm just fucking so excited, man. You have no idea. Like this WoW Classic coming back. Like, this is such a like liberating moment for me because like the original World of Warcraft, and I think I even talked about this like fucking like forever ago when we did like our top 10 games of all time. World of Warcraft was on my list because That game means so much to me. Vanilla WoW means so much to me. Like, that game is so special, and I get it back now. I get to have it again. And I get to do it as an adult now with a little bit of common sense and responsibility. So I'm not going to be, like, sitting there for 20-hour sessions, eating pizza rolls and drinking root beer.
Dude, I think back to, like, what was... even just the two of us, we never had, like, a super long session like that. Like,
Not in the way that I used to. I shit you not, spent over an entire day of my life in one session of Warcraft.
That's terrible.
Like, me and my old friend Justin, like, we would literally, like, it would be one of those things where, like, one of us would run out, get some monsters, and just, like, stay awake.
To think. I think our longest session was probably, like, 8 hours.
Yeah, probably, like, 8 to 10 or something like that. Yeah. It depends. I mean, granted, I remember when Hearthstone first came out, we spent a solid, like, 8 hours just playing nothing but Hearthstone.
I made you good at that game.
And you know what? It's so funny because, like, I'm in such a, like, Warcraft mood now that I'm actually,
you want to play Hearthstone again? God damn, dude.
I'm actually, like, I kind of want to fuck with Hearthstone.
You can't, dude. You can't do Hearthstone because you don't have any of the good cards, man.
The only thing I don't want to fuck with is Modern WoW. It's so funny because I'm just like, the more I've like seethed and stewed and boiled in my hype for like WoW Classic.
Oh, dude, you have like your level of hatred for like Modern WoW is like it's bad.
I have developed a like Nazi Holocaust level of hatred for Modern WoW.
It's pretty bad now.
Modern WoW fucking disgusts me because now, like, I'm watching these streams and I'm just like exposed now to how much better shit used to be, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, how is this okay? Anyway, I've been ranting about fucking WoW now for too long. I think we should end this show. Put me out of my misery. August 27th, Todd. It can't come soon enough.
Real talk.
And it's so cool too that they're just bundling it with the subscription.
Yeah, that makes it easy, honestly.
That is such a painless way to do it. I'm so happy about that. Can't wait. And I love that, like, you know, again, this is going to be like a snapshot in time. I can raise my druid to level 60 and I can, like, safely spend time earning gear because it's not going to be obsolete.
Yep.
It's just WoW Classic. So, like, it has an ending. You know what I mean? Anyway. That's been our show this week, Todd. Thank you all so much for listening. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.